barnaamijku waa hoodhi hoodhi xubinta xaalad dalka saan hore aan idinkugu sheegnay waxaan sugaynay oo haatan stuudiyaha si toosa noola joogo hogaamiyaha xisbiga ANC Musalia Mudavadi waraysiga English ahaan doona ugu horeyn iyo ogolaada inaan mikrofonka idaacaddan kusoo dhaweeyo Mheshimiwa, welcome to Iftiin FM.
Asante sana.
Thank you. We appreciate giving us this time. First of all, you are a presidential candidate and there are many other presidential candidates in the field. What makes you feel that you are different from them?
The important is for me to just spell out my agenda, and I would like Kenyans to know that the challenge we are facing, more than anything else, is a challenge that is about the economy. Kenyans have suffered from the ravages of COVID. Over 2 million young men and women have lost jobs. Many industries have closed. The recent government statistics of the Kenya survey showed that tourism declined by about 43%. We have seen agriculture decline by about 18%. So very many sectors have suffered, including manufacturing and trade. So what is going to be very critical is to have an environment and programs that will enable Kenyans to recover from this very difficult situation. And that is why at ANC we say agenda number 1 is the economy, agenda number 2 the economy, and agenda number 3 the economy.
The economy seems to be the agenda for most of the candidates, like the Vice President, even Raila Odinga. But let's go direct to the Northeastern and the pastoral communities. There are a lot of issues that they are facing. What are your plans for the pastoral communities?
I think what needs to come out for the pastoral communities is, let us appreciate where are their strengths and which ones have not been exploited and which ones have not been exploited. I think the challenge of water remains very critical in the pastoralist communities. This is something that has not been appropriately tackled, and I feel sad sometimes that dams that were supposed to be constructed in some of these areas have never been constructed, or in certain circumstances people have disappeared with the money that was allocated to create these dams. So that is going to be a key item for revival. Infrastructure needs to be improved in those areas. To be honest, there are some positive things, like if the road, say from Isiolo all the way to
Mandera County,
which is partly internationally funded, if that is done, it will definitely improve. And if along it you have a fiber cable that will change the communication of those areas, you're going to help those areas realize their potential. So aspects like abattoirs, allowing them to ferry, say, the livestock or livestock products quickly to areas that can then be either exported or used for secondary manufacturing processes. These are going to be very, very important areas that need to be strengthened. So as far as I'm concerned, that is where you have the potential that needs to be unleashed. And we need to do it, give them electricity, and things will change.
Also in the education sector, issues for the Northeastern, the withdrawal of the teachers, how would you like to address those issues in the education sector?
I think what is important is to enhance security for our people, because the problem has been that the teachers in some of those areas felt threatened by the conflict from neighboring areas. And we are seeing this challenge may be with us for a little longer because of what we are seeing in neighboring countries that border us as a country. So those security and its improvement is going to be very critical in securing the education of our young men and women in that area. So we need to invest in that security. And as I said, if we improve infrastructure and work with them closely in improving the economic activities, we will provide the right environment for education to thrive.
You mentioned that money allocated to improve the basic services like the water has been stolen, and this the corruption is what ailing our economy. Your government,
Okay.
if you form the next government,
Okay.
how will you like to address the corruption?
We just have to make the institutions that fight corruption work effectively. They need to get more funds to fight corruption. The allocation of resources to the Director of Public Prosecution's Office, to EACC and so forth, to the Auditor General, this has got to be enhanced. We also have to make sure that there is no political interference in the process of fighting corruption. So, and we should not even think about increasing institutions that fight corruption. We have enough. Yeah, it's just for them to be allowed to function, and my government would give them the goodwill.
Many people say that what we lack now in the fight of the corruption is the political will. How will you create that environment?
It is through good leadership. Yeah. For instance, if we are going to move forward, things like declaration of wealth should be made public. Those should become accessible to the public, so that it will become clear, rather than witch hunting and so forth. It becomes clear that so-and-so is a public officer, this is what he declared, and even if he was to do business, or he was to grow his whatever, it can only grow in a certain manner, but not where you find somebody in public office who had nothing, and within 3 years he's a billionaire. It does not make sense.
The youth, which form the largest population in our country and also in our region, I mean the northeastern, lack crucial documents like the ID, which eventually lock them from employment. How will you address that?
I think the institute, using technology and biometrics and all this, we can improve on the issuance of IDs as we go forward, so that it will be much faster and information can be shared and integrated. Okay. There's an attempt through the Huduma number, so that once you have it,
Yeah.
the information around you can be shared, and it will be easier going forward to be able to give people a fair chance and an honest chance to deal with their constitutional right of having the ID. We should not profile any people. We should not discriminate any people. That would be wrong. If I go and apply and I'm not given an ID, I should be told why I was not able to get the ID and what I need to do to get the ID, in case my processing of the forms was wrong. So these are the things that we need to come out with.
On my last two questions, the first one, you are vying for the presidency next year. We haven't seen you making campaign in Northeastern. Why haven't you not yet gone to the region?
You see, the process is going to start in terms of the actual movements. But I can tell you that the deputy party leader of ANC,
Captain Abdi.
Captain Abdi comes from there. And we are making plans to be able to visit the region.
The last question. We know that you are the flag bearer of ANC. Up to now, your party didn't make public who will be your running mate. Will you be able to tell us your running mate?
No party at this point in time has announced who is going to be a running mate of the presidential candidates. But at the appropriate time, that message will come out.
Your last message to our audience.
I think it is important that we take the voter registration seriously. That is my message to the audience. So as we go into the election process, The ones who have not registered, please register as voters. Let us move away from violence. Let us persuade each other through logic and not through violence. This is the message I want to tell Kenyans. We are all Kenyans. Let us compete in a manner that consolidates and strengthens democracy and not undermines democracy. And my message is that to the young people, come out in large numbers, because you cannot be taken for granted. People have been taking you for granted for too long. This time, come out and be the ones to determine the leadership that you want. If you have been let down by the current leadership, this is the time to correct it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. It was a pleasure to have you in our studio.
Okay.